Yo, what's up? It's Dazid or David A. Newbine Jr. You can call me either one. We are here with Zatrion Dizadair, you know what I'm saying? The creator of Grandeur Excellence, man. And this is a Visual Insider exclusive, man. We're going to give y'all some information, the scoop on the brand, and give you a little bit as far as what the brand is tailors to, who it's for, what it means. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned. You're going to learn a lot in this episode. So just to kind of get started, if you want to kind of tell them a little bit about yourself, a little bit of history on you and stuff you've done.
Me, man, I've been living here in Cheyenne for about, maybe 16 years now. So that's pretty much like half my life. How I ended up down here was really just I was getting in trouble a lot as a kid. The judge gave me an ultimatum, ultimatum. So he was like, basically, come down here to Cheyenne, live with Pops, or do a little bit of time down there just because, my head wasn't in the right place or whatever. So I came down here. Didn't like it at first. It took a little bit to get used to. And then, in high school, man, I found the love of my life.
There you go.
Found my wife, bro. So we got 4 kids, man. So yeah, that's my biggest accomplishment right now is my family, my wife and my 4 kids, man. If it wasn't for them, I don't think I would be the man that I am today. And that's just what it is, man. They have improved me tremendously.
I agree. Kids do that.
Mm-hmm.
Kids will do that to you, and a good woman too. That also doesn't probably more than kids. But
yeah.
I guess the first thing that I want to start with is if you were to define your brand, Grandeur Excellence, in like a one sentence, how would you define that?
A brand that inspires you to perform at a higher standard of living. That's the most simplest way, If I want to do one sentence, that's pretty much the tagline. If you want to remember Grandeur Excellence, remember a brand that inspires you to perform at a higher standard of living. There you have it.
Higher standard of living, period. Mm-hmm. Like raise the bar.
Mm-hmm.
In what ways would you, like, how would you define a higher standard of living?
Higher standard, which means you, instead of just moving in just subconscious and unconscious ways, you're actually being mindful and thinking about your next move, thinking about what you're gonna say, thinking about how you feel. You're not performing on autopilot. You're awake. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when you're awake and when you're mindful and things like that, you think about what you're gonna say to the next person, and if it's gonna be the right thing, if it's gonna be disrespectful, it's gonna be kind, whatever, So performing at a higher standard really stems from treating people better. Because if you perform at a higher standard, the only thing I could do is cause a positive ripple effect throughout society.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's really all there is to it.
I agree with that. Just like they said, negativity breeds negativity. So it's the exact same thing on the opposite side of the spectrum. So
yeah.
I'm wearing some Grandeur Excellence. I got the word perseverance. What you got on? What's
Transcendent?
Transcendent.
Man. This is my word, man, and this is what resonated most with me. In a brief definition, is the just rising above ordinary. Just rising above limitations. You know what I mean? Just ordinary expectations. I have overcame so much in my life, and even overcame things that people find it extremely hard, probably even impossible to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
My life has given me so many obstacles, just so many situations to where I'm like thinking to myself, man, I might as well just, I don't know what else to do. I'm just feeling defeated, and but every time I ended up on top, ended up coming out on top, on the brighter end. There's never been a moment to where it's like there's no more life for me, Mm-hmm. Like I've always felt that even if I was going through the most craziest thing in my life, feeling defeated and everything like that, I knew I still had more life to live. So transcendence, man.
So there's 10 words. I'm wearing one of them, perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
You got transcendence.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other 8?
So if I'm gonna go ahead and list them real quick for y'all. So these are the 10 core virtues of Grandeur Excellence. They will never change. They will never be added to. So if you're trying to be like, man, you should add this word, no, we're gonna keep it 10 words. On the back of this bag, 10 words. On the back of that bag, those words will never change. So we're gonna list some: altruism, equanimity, indomitable, inexorable, magnanimity, resilience, sagacity, sapience, transcendence, perseverance. Those 10 words is the words that it can change the world. If everybody would adopt one of these core virtues, bro, the world could be a completely different place, man.
And do they only need to adopt one, or do they need to be mindful of them all? Or is it just one kind of does the trick?
That's the most beautiful thing about this brand, is that all you need is one. Now, if you want more than one, that's more power to you.
Period.
That's more power to you. But all you need is one. One of these words can change any situation that you end up in. Any situation. Now, it's cool to, have perseverance, have that the tendency to persevere, but it's also cool to have sagacity, that keen discernment, that practical judgment. It's good to have that too, but at the same time, you don't need all 10 words. So when you choose that one word, really just focus on that one word and think about how you can embody that word and perfect that word. And if there's another word that means more to you, or that that has come to you, that resonates with you just about the same, you could choose that one too, man. Get another hoodie. Get all 10 hoodies. I don't get all 10 of these words can resonate with you. If you got all 10, bro, that's pure grandeur excellence. They can't get no more grandeur excellence than that, bro. Yeah.
In the comments, I'm gonna have the website there, so if you guys want to go check it out and read about it, see the different pages and stuff, or even connect with Zay, with me, he's got the website set up pretty tight, honestly. So go check that out. You know what I'm saying? Watch the rest of this video first, of course, but make sure to check that out at the end and read up a little bit about this. We're gonna talk a little bit more about it though. So as far as the words. And see, now it's just kind of a natural conversation. I haven't asked one of the questions.
Oh, snap. Okay.
I haven't asked one of the questions yet, bro.
Let's go, bro.
Because this is just things that I was curious about, really.
Okay.
But, so each of the 10 words, do they, I guess it's kind of a two-part question. So do they all stand alone, I want to say successfully, because like none of them kind of overlap. Like not one of the words kind of means the same thing as any of the other words.
Exactly,
is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I was also wondering, like, where did you get the inspiration to choose those words specifically? Because they all are very like big words. They seem very powerful words. You know what I'm saying? They to me, they're words that I've heard before in the English language. They are English words, but they have like a little bit more of a aesthetic to them already. Even just like the word is like really fancy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, what inspired you to choose those words, or where did you get that from?
Because I wanted words that stuck out. Like I didn't want just no basic words that everybody hear every day. You know what I mean? I wanted words that when you hear it's like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? So I say magnanimity. Like ain't nobody heard you ain't heard magnanimity. Ain't nobody heard that word. No one's heard magnanimity. Real. But shoot, magnanimity means was it kindness of heart? Kindness of heart, especially when you like have strength and you got strength and power, like you're in a position of power where you can where you're a judge, you're a police officer, you somebody of influence, things like that. Magnanimity is being able to have that kindness, that generous spirit, even when you have the ability to change someone else's life in a not so good way. Magnanimity is using your power, your strength for positivity and not for negativity. So there you go.
But like, okay, so when you're thinking about grandeur excellence, like what brought you to the words though? Like, were you just kind of looking them up and trying to find like what, or did it come to you on like a more spiritual level, or like how do you feel like you came to those ones?
Well, see, I just went based upon my experience in life, like my spiritual journey and just my growth, like the things that I went through as I was maturing into a man. And growing up, I've always been, a very kind person, even though I've had a crazy past, I've definitely matured, I'm not the same as I was a while back, but altruism, I wanted to find, I knew that I like to do for people without expecting nothing in return. Like, I'm just the type of person that to extend that kindness of heart. I don't even care if you ain't got nothing to give me. I don't care. So I looked up stuff to represent that. So like, I would go on ChatGPT and be like, what word will represent, doing for others without expecting anything in return. And then boom, it would, show me, words or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I like altruism, boom. And I would just do that. I would just I would just think of these. I wanted 10, like, because 10, I was born on September 10th. So, I like the number 10.
That's a good number.
Yeah, so I wanted to I came up with just, 10 different things, 10 different experiences in my life, and then looked up, the most sophisticated word, or just a good quality word I can attach to it. That's pretty much it.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see here. There was one question in here that I did want to ask.
Okay.
What problem in the world or in people were you trying to heal or challenge when this brand was born?
Man, compassion, bro. Like, I need people to have compassion for each other, man. Like, people don't care about each other enough. Like, they see somebody doing something that they shouldn't, or like, for example, like, say somebody's struggling with some form of addiction, you know what I mean? And they don't give no sense of care. Like, bro, like, they see him, let's say they walk into a liquor store, whatever, they've been sober for years. They walk into a liquor store, and it's 4th of July or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, and they got, say they with somebody, like, bro, man, it's 4th of July, man, let's drink, man, like, it's a good time, it's a good occasion, somebody who has more compassion, I'm like, bro,
you been good.
No, bro. Somebody with compassion is gonna feel the need, is gonna feel the desire to tell that person don't need to do what that person's about to do.
Period.
You know what I mean? Man, people just, I don't know, bro. Like, it's a hard thing to see people not caring enough to do something that's going to, benefit somebody else, even when, you know what I'm saying? Just like, everybody just wants something, something in return, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, this day and age too, it's like with social media, like cell phones and all these different little tasks that the world has created normality around, that all revolve around how much people think of you, kind of, in a way, instead of like how much people think about, because like, okay, you think about, like, you go on Facebook, you looking through there everybody else, but what are you worried about when you on Facebook? Like, you're worried about them seeing what you posted. You're looking at your likes. You're looking like, oh, how many people like my stuff and this and that, you know what I'm saying? And not so much worried about spreading love to other people. It's more about, like, what am I getting from people? And then when people ain't giving you nothing, it's like, oh man, no one cares, blah blah blah, or they're all haters or whatever, whatever it is. But like, yeah, it's definitely like, I feel like back in the day, it was probably a little bit easier for people to be more compassionate. You know what I mean? And now we got all this like fog with technology and stuff, so it makes it a lot harder. So I do think people need to be reminded that it is possible for us to be compassionate and to care for one another without worrying so much about what we get ourselves at the end of the day, because we all do it, and we money, unfortunately, all our lives revolve around money in a way. Like, you can say you don't care about money or whatever, but guess what, if you got a home, then you do care about money. You got kids, then you do care about money. You got bills, you care about money, because you're gonna need that to keep going to the next month and the next few days or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that plays a role as well, as far as like people doing stuff. But I do think that there's got to be a way to find some kind of happy medium in there where we're being more compassionate than we are being needy or selfish, you know what I mean? Being more selfless at the end of the day would be a good thing, and I see that in your brand, you know what I'm saying? Very like nuance. Is nuance the word? I don't know. It's just the way that, like, looking at it has like a different appeal than anything else I've really seen so far. And it's deeper than just surface, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like anybody could look at the brand and be like, they could find their own thing from it to take away from it and still like grow into a better person than they were before. You know what I mean? Like I feel like even I have, like you told me about this what, a month ago? You had a meeting?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there?
Yeah, pretty much. Like February 28th. Yeah.
This has been an exact month? Today?
Oh, snap. Is it
the 28th?
Yeah. It is the 28th.
Oh, it's the 31st.
Oh, wait.
Right. We'll just tell you, it's the 28th today, 1 month. But yeah, dude, like I do see, I see it going in some good directions. Would you say this brand is trying to change behavior, mindset, or culture? And how intentional is that mission for you?
This brand is intended to change behavior, mind, and culture.
Change it all.
Change it all. It's a higher standard of living. You know, people. We're not here to change one thing. You know, we here to do a whole 360, not a 180. You know, it's just, you know, people need to really think about the way that they act. You know, the way that they perform in their life. They need to improve their performance in life. You know what I mean? Not just in their hobbies. You know, not just, you know, for their managers at work or whatever. You know, not just as a husband or, you know, or a father, wife, whatever. You know, whatever you are. You know, it's also very, very important to improve your quality of mind. You know, the way that you think. You know what I mean? Because everything that comes out comes from here. So if this ain't right, my bad, I touched the mic. But if this ain't right, things that come out ain't gonna be right either. You got to get your head right. That's what Grandeur Excellence is. You know, it's a mindset. You know, anytime you think about making a decision, think about Grandeur Excellence. You know, you think about what? You know, think about going off on somebody, crashing out. Grandeur Excellence.
What word would you say would be the word that would change that direction? Like if you were feeling like hot-headed. Some people like that. They're hot-headed and they ready to explode on somebody as soon as someone says something they don't like. Like what word do you think would be a good one for them to lean on?
Equanimity.
Because
that means calm, steady under pressure. You know, equanimity is a good one, but also indomitable, impossible to defeat or break. You know what I mean? Like,
but that could go both ways though, too. Though
yeah.
Someone could take that and be like, "I'm gonna argue with you because I'm indomitable."
Impossible.
Because you're not gonna break me.
See, if you apply Grandeur Excellence to the word, now see the thing about these words is that inexorable, indomitable means indomitable, but through the lens of Grandeur Excellence, it's applied to a specific situation, which is treating people better.
So positive.
So when you think of perseverance, you're thinking of how through perseverance you can treat someone better. Transcendence.
I got perseverance over here, bro.
Because I'm thinking about your hoodie. But yeah, through transcendence, through perseverance, you know, through altruism, you're thinking about how you're going to treat someone better. So, you know, when you think about indomitable, impossible to defeat or break, you're going to think about, okay, say you sitting at a red light, okay, and it turned green, whatever, you look away, but it turned green, you know, you're not really focused on the light, whatever. And then somebody behind you, burp, burp. Boy, you know.
Oh, it happens.
When people beat their horn, it's like sends like a shock wave through your body, bro. And you think Grant Jackson, indomitable. You know what I mean? Perseverance. You know what I mean? That's what you think. You know, in situations where you about to crash out, don't do it. Think Grant Jackson. So that's the whole purpose of the brand. Is to get people to be mindful of what they about to do, what they about to say, what they about to put out into this universe.
I like that. So, because I said it a couple times, but I mean, would you not say that Grandeur excellence being better or greater than, I would feel like, than the other possibilities, like excellent in comparison to poor, you know what I mean? It's kind of more of a positive aspect, right? Like looking through a positive lens with these different things. Like you can be like, you could be stubborn. This isn't one of your words, but you could be stubborn through a positive lens, if that makes sense. That's how I'm trying to look at it.
You know what's crazy is I've thought of it from the other end. I've thought of it from that end. Like for example, say say we got some gamers in the hood or something, you know, and they like, you know, they want to rep Grandeur Excellence. Like, man, you know, I'm indomitable, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know. The thing is, man, is that you can be Grandeur Excellence is not about perfection. You know, nobody's going to just be walking around here just holy, 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 you know? Like we all is gonna have something where we just got problems. You know, problem here, problem there. Like everybody has something that's not good. But see, Grandeur Excellence is to remind you to acknowledge those things instead of ignore those things. You know what I mean? It's about making the attempt to improve instead of just sitting in your stubbornness.
Period. That makes sense.
So, yeah, it can be in, you know, quote unquote, you know, negative environments, but it shouldn't stay that way. You know, those environments should bend, you know, to Grandeur Excellence. They shouldn't, you know, stay in the chaotic ways that they are.
Okay. Well, I feel like we asked a good amount of questions. Some of these things in here would be repeating kind of because I started asking a lot of questions it did kind of come up with some of them, but it just kind of turned into a natural conversation. There was a lot that I wanted to know about it, and I'm sure there's people out there that have been looking and have been seeing and stuff and maybe are curious. And if you've watched this video, what I'm going to ask you to do, just to engage with us a little bit on this, if you did make it to this ending part, go check out the website in the comments and then come back after you pick a word that's powerful to you and drop it in the comments, and maybe we could talk about it or not. It's up to you. I'm gonna try to talk to you about it. Zay's gonna be there too. He probably gonna have something to say too. But you know what I'm saying? Let's start a conversation about this. Let's talk about it, and let's keep this conversation going in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Zay.
Yes.
Let them know one more time where they could find you at and stuff. Shout out some ads and stuff.
Search my name, Zatreon Dizadare. You probably can't spell it, bro, but I mean, search it, man. What? Zatreon. There you go. Dizadare. Boom. All right. And then Grandeur Excellence. You can search whatever. Search one of those two things. You will find me, my brand, everything you need to find is right there. All you gotta do is search it. It's that simple, bro.
Period. But anyways, y'all, this has been a Visual Insider exclusive, man. Grandeur Excellence. Go check them out. Thank you, bro, for coming in for this interview. I'm sure we'll do another one at some point. Hey, if y'all want to see more, y'all want to hear more, let us know that in the comments.
I will come back and talk about more. Sure. For real, bro. Let's do it.
All righty, then. Y'all take care, man. See you next time.
That was dope.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. That was dope.